Hi, it's Yoshi Carlson here, and today we're going to take a look at the long-running Japanese Super Sentai series of TV shows. You might not be familiar with these right away, but they're actually the shows that were, in America, adapted into Power Rangers, although the Super Sentai series goes back as early as the mid-70s. Several of these shows since the early 90s and going onward to the modern day have been adapted into Power Rangers in America. I'm going to show off the Super Sentai releases that I've picked up and talk about the stories behind some of them. So, first one we have here is the Zyuranger series. This was adapted into the first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and in fact, the Zyuranger costumes were used for the first 3 seasons of the show. So like all the costumes, monsters, Zords from season 1 of Power Rangers, they all came from this series, Zyuranger. The exact pronunciation of the title, I'm not sure, but I've heard it Zyuranger, I've heard Zyuranger, I've heard Jewranger. Who knows? But anyway, you see, there's some good stuff to be had here, and of course those images will immediately look familiar to you if you've ever watched Power Rangers. The next one I have here is Dairanger. Dairanger was adapted into the second season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They continue using the Zyuranger costumes for the Rangers, but the monsters and Zords, in this case it would be the Thunder Zords, were adapted from this show. Although the character Lord Zed was actually an original American creation and did not appear in this show. You got photos of the characters here on the discs. One thing that's kind of interesting to report about this series is that the White Ranger in Dairanger, whose costume actually was used in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, actually was a little boy who turns into an adult when he transforms into the White Ranger. So, more interesting stuff to be had there, of course. And then next up we have Kaku Ranger, which was adapted into the third season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Again, they continued using the Zyuranger costumes in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but the Kaku Ranger costumes, if those look familiar, those were used for the Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers. And of course, villains that were featured in the third season came from this. So like Rito Revolto and Master Vile, they were adapted from characters in this. You have close-ups of the Battle Borgs there, so those will probably look familiar. Then here's the disc. You got the Rangers together and some nice photos in the background. Next up we have is O-Ranger. O-Ranger's elements were adapted into Power Rangers Zeo. And at this point, Power Rangers started changing the costumes every season to correspond to the original Super Sentai series on account of it was easier to reuse footage that way and make the series cheaper. So there we go. Got some nice images inside the case there. Nice close-up of the back of the case here with the individual Rangers. And then the last one I have here is Car Ranger. This was adapted into Power Rangers Turbo. Now, I've only watched the first few episodes of Power Rangers Turbo, so I can't really talk too much comparison-wise here, but you can certainly see where the original elements from the show came from. And these 5 are the only ones that I've gotten so far, but Shout Factory has put out several more Super Sentai shows, including Jetman, which actually predates the ones that were adapted into Power Rangers by 1 season, and then some of the more recent ones as well. Picture quality on the discs is not the best. There's usually not much in the way of bonus features, but these are worth having just for their historical significance. In a lot of cases, they actually have much darker storylines that you can adapt for American kids, so that's worth the price of admission alone. I can easily recommend these if you can find them for a decent price. Are you a Power Rangers fan? Are you a Super Sentai fan? What series do you think is better? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm T.O.T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.